Hi, this is Cindy Casita and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our listing that we just got and how we're going to handle that until we get an offer in. The first thing is when you're in your listing appointment, ask your sellers which way they prefer to communicate with you. Some people like a phone call, some people want an email once a week, some people only want text messages. So depending on their careers and where they are in life or just how they like to talk. Some people don't like to talk on the phone. They just want to see it in writing. So be sure and check with them how they want to be updated on the information you have to send to them. It's even harder for sellers that are out of town and isolated. They're not seeing the activity or having to leave the house or, that kind of thing. They're not being displaced any, so they really don't know what's going on. So you need to really update them pretty much a little more than the local people. They just get worried that they're being forgotten. And so I like the electronic lock boxes that lets me know, people are wanting to do showings. And so every once in a while during the week, I'll send them, yeah, we had 2 showings this week, or great day, we have 3 showings tomorrow, or whatever it is. And no news is not good news. I mean, they want to hear from you. And the most common thing I hear is, I never heard from our listing agent once we got the paperwork signed. I even sent them an email asking for a price reduction and I never got it. Come on, people, answer your email, pick up the phone, talk to your sellers, let them know. This is not something you need to be afraid to talk to them about. They need to know what the market is. I also set my sellers up on a search through the MLS or through my website for their neighborhood, their building. So they're seeing constantly a feed of things coming and going. Because I like to check the MLS every morning, and I look at the active new ones. I look at the pending, see what under contract during the night. Look at the withdrawals. Look at the expireds. Look at the ones that closed. So especially for the area that you have your listing in, it kind of helps you keep your comps in line, so that it gives you something to talk to the people about. But if they're in a particular building, then they're seeing it as it comes through. If they're in a neighborhood, like we have 55 plus communities, or if they're in a 100 house neighborhood, send them the updates. Put it through the MLS. You don't have to think about it. And that way you're keeping in touch with them. And you just need to say to them, this is the market. This is what it is. This is what's going on. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to be a cheerleader. You're just stating facts and helping them discover whether they need a little price correction, or because sometimes just a little correction will put you back in the market as far as seeing or going out on searches for people. They'll see your listing. So don't be afraid to talk to your sellers about it. Yes, some of them get angry, so that's why you don't go in waving a flag, I'm going to get you lots more money than anybody else, because you just don't know. So you want to be very honest and open with them. Know the building, know what's going on around them or in the neighborhood. Kind of keep in touch. Sometimes a Facebook group is kind of a fun thing to follow and see, what's going in the neighborhood. Oh, they got some new construction going on, or, there's open houses or whatever. But, I have not found open houses to do well in neighborhoods, because I want people through the door that can pay for the house or the condo. And it's just usually neighbors being nosy and wanting to know if the seller is going to get rid of that sofa in the living room, because they've always loved it. So, just be mindful of that. But, that's up to you. Sometimes they do like bulk open houses where there'll be 4 or 5 agents. But, I just have not found, other than for getting new buyers, that's a great way of doing it. If the house is vacant, make sure it's managed, especially in this market right now. There's not a lot of buyers out there, and you want to make sure the house is okay. Some people have cameras and they're checking on it, but you know what? I like to at least once a week put my feet on the carpet in there and look around and see what's going on, and make sure there's not a leak under the sink that just happened, or the air conditioning, somebody turned it down, turned it up, whatever, lights are off, whatever it is different. You want to make sure the lawn is maintained, the pool is clean. There's nothing worse than someone going to see it and going, I don't want to keep that dirty pool. So, just go in and walk around and make sure it smells fresh. Don't use the plug-ins. Those things are awful. They mask nothing. And people use it to cover up pet odor, smoke odor, whatever. They don't help. Do not do those things. They are just not worth the money. and it just irritates everybody as they go in there. Warn people if you have cameras in the property. You just need to put it in the MLS in the realtor remarks or special instructions, whatever, that there are cameras in place. And that's another note that we'll talk about later, with how to deal with your buyers when you come upon cameras in a property. So, let them know, and don't give away your hand. You don't need to be talking numbers or bad mouthing the house while you're in there, because sellers remember it. And if you bring an offer, they go, oh, those are the people that were so ugly about our beautiful home. Don't talk about it. Just, if you need to make comment, but don't. Just look at the house, save your discussion for when you're back in the car and kind of going over what the property looked like. So just be sure and tell the people that there are cameras. Now, I've had the cameras be a pain in the butt to me as a seller, because the seller knew every time we had a showing, and he would critique me through text messages while I was showing the house. You didn't go far enough in the room. Did you go out on the dock? Were you down in the basement? Did you show them the living room? I mean, really, give me a break. So you have to have that conversation with them too. Let me do my job. And do take creative criticism if it's something that you need to point out in the house, but it's nothing more annoying as an agent to not be trusted. So make sure the seller trusts you and that you can show their home in a favorable light. You don't want to hide anything. You just want to show it in a favorable light. Feedback. We get through the MLS, we get our lockbox sends out notifications, and I send out text messages, emails, and a phone call. But do not call them, text them while they're still in the driveway. You haven't even had a chance to, offload information with the buyer. So don't call them within 3 minutes of showing the house, because they probably have 7 or 8 houses and you don't want to be annoying. So I just usually I give it an hour, send a quick text message, looking forward to feedback. Or that evening I'll make a phone call to them. Can you give me a little bit of feedback on it? Generally, if you don't hear anything from them, it's not their favorite. They don't want it. But you would like to be able to give the seller some feedback if they say to them, we don't like that purple paint in those bedrooms. Well, you could give them a decorator allowance and a name of a good painter if that's what they want. Or they don't like carpet, they want tile, they want laminate. Whatever it is, see if a decorator's allowance will fix that. If you hear that several times, that green carpet is just too much, make the decision. Should we go ahead and replace that with something else? Or be sure you make notes that you give them a decorator allowance upon offer. Because sometimes, that's all they want to hear, and who knows, they may or may not change out appliances or whatever it is that seems to be annoying the last 3 or 4 people that have come through the listing. Just make sure the house is tidy and ready to show if you can, especially in homes that are dark. If you can get there before the showings on a day, get the lights on, open the windows, anything that has a light bulb, turn it on. I always tell my sellers, open the windows, open everything you got. Natural light is better. If you can get there and set the ambiance for the showing, that's great. Make sure you got some flyers on the counter, because a lot of agents don't give their buyers flyers about the house, and you want them to remember your house. So, just kind of do that. Then that way you can go back and check later and lock it up and make sure everything's okay. It is a showing that is where the seller is going to leave. Please make sure they leave. I have never sold a listing in all the years I've been doing this where the seller was standing there looking at us. It just makes the people so uncomfortable. I've had them sit in the living room. I'll sit on the back porch. No, take a walk. Just get out of the house so that they just feel like they need to hurry because the people are sitting outside, or they don't want to talk between each other. It's just like, I don't like this house. It just is, offensive to me. Whatever it is, just ask the sellers to please leave. And then you can text them when you're leaving and let them know that they can come back to the home. You can text the agent, not the people. And let them know that you have left the property, and thank you so much for letting us show it. We loved your home. And give them some real feedback later. But, just be courteous to them. And of course, the sellers think that they're the ones that can show the house better than you as a realtor can. I know what a kitchen is and I know what bathrooms are. We don't need them to be there for that. It's just, we want the people to enjoy the home. Sit down, look at the views, really be in there. So us as realtors being there is not a good idea. Now, I have had it where some buildings, it's a good idea when the selling agent is there, if you're just not really familiar with the building and you're not sure where the amenities are, and you think, oh my gosh, is that the second floor or the third floor? Do I need a code to get to it? Just kind of say, it'd be great if you could just go ahead and show us the amenities while you're still here. And that kind of gets you out of the doghouse on not knowing where it is. And then you can make notes for yourself later on. Oh God, that's on the second floor. And instead you get off the elevator, you take a right, because some of these buildings are confusing. So sometimes the selling agent can give you some good, helpful info about the building, or if there's some new construction going on, or if there's something that we need to know about, or something special that only the owners would know. Those are good things to know, and that's good things for you to remember, because then you can pass it on to your next buyers. So take good care of your listing. It will take care of you, honestly, if you do everything you can do and have it a good presentation. When it comes time to get an offer and have an inspection, then the house will be in great shape and you don't have to worry. So good luck selling that listing. Thank you for watching. If you're looking to be a better agent, or you're a new agent getting into the business, you might want to look at a couple of these new videos that we have that will help you on that process. I want to thank you for watching. If you liked what we're saying, please like and subscribe. Look forward to talking to you again.